Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Wednesday, December 16th, 2020, 10 a.m. Central, in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It's just at freezing degrees, but it's still beautiful. Well, it's Wednesday. Makes it a campaign discussion day. We're going to continue on with our first edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master's Guide look at the first dungeon. So this is part 3. And we were as far as the doors section in that area of the DMG. So we're going to continue on from there. Where are we at? Let's have a look here. There we go. Doors. As a rule of thumb, all doors are hard to open. You know, we kind of looked at part of this before. But just overview. Okay. All right. Closed, hard to keep open and hard to keep closed or open for player characters. While inhabitants of the dungeon find little difficulty in these regards, regardless of how the door opens, it is usual that its weight and condition require that force be used to swiftly operate it. This is represented by the roll of a d6 for each person involved in pushing, pulling, lifting, sliding, or whatever. A roll of 1 or 2 typically indicates success. Anything above that, the door still remains unopened. You can check in the player's handbook for details about that under Strength in Character Abilities section. Very heavy doors might reduce chances by half. Locked doors might only open if 2 or even 3 simultaneous ones are rolled. Most doors are about 8 feet wide, and this allows up to 3 characters to attempt opening. A door of 3 foot wide or less, 3 foot or less width, allows but a single character to make an attempt. If wooden doors, always metal bound naturally, are broken down by axes and the like, it will take some time, a full turn as usual, and require at least 3 checks to see if nearby and or wandering monsters are attracted by the noise. Doors can always be blasted away by fireballs and other spells, for example. This will not be likely to draw monsters to the vicinity immediately. Any such destruction will, however, attract the attention of all passing creatures and possibly cause future problems. Intelligent dungeon inhabitants will certainly make efforts to repair damage if it is in their interest to do so. Finally, metal doors, usually locked, will be very difficult to open, requiring a knock spell or similar means most of the time. So we actually went over that first door section before. But then we did not get to these concealed doors. These are doors which are hidden in some way behind a curtain, covered with plaster, a trapdoor under a rug, etc. They differ from secret doors in that once their concealment is uncovered, they are obviously doors. So when you do a little squiggly line to show that there's a tapestry or a curtain in front of a door, even if you don't designate it as a concealed door, it is a concealed door. It might get noticed in passing, but really it's just out of view, so there's no way to necessarily see it to discover it. Secret doors are, well, let's go on. Secret doors. These are portals which are made to appear to be a normal part of the surface they are in. They can possibly be sensed or detected by characters who are actively concentrating on such activity, or their possible location may be discovered by tapping, though the hollow place could be another passage or room beyond, which has no portal. Hollow sounding, it could just be a hollow sounding surface. Discovery does not mean that access to the door mechanism has been discovered, however. Checking requires a very thorough examination of the possible secret door area. You may use either of two methods to allow discovery of the mechanism which operates the portal. Unlike a lot of game systems, this is in the hands of the referee, the dungeon master, the game master. There are a number of, certainly most, if not all, of the modern systems of the game kind of put this in the hands of the player, in that it's usually like a skill roll or some sort of check that the player makes, and I guess there's a expeditious nature to that, in that it keeps the game pace going. The player is invested more because they're involved at a visceral level. But that kind of way of handling secret doors kind of sucks some of the mystery out of this. And up front, let me say, although I've talked about it before, secret doors just as a general concept, this is the mechanics of it. So it assumes that secret doors might not be found. A lot of systems, a lot of games, a lot of adventures, they tuck something away behind a secret door. And if you don't find it, it's a dead end. Especially on something that's very much a linear adventure or campaign. Once you run up against a secret door, if you can't find it, it stalls everything out. And if you never find it, go home. Because if I've only got one path and it goes through a secret door, and I'm running a game where a secret door might or might not get found, and tough luck if it's not found, that ends it. So the opposite philosophy is secret door should be found. Why put a secret door in a game, in some opinions? If they should be found, why not just make them a regular door? But of course, the flip side of that is, or the thinking behind secret doors that should be found is, well, it adds a sense of mystery. It's false, though. It's not a real sense of mystery. If secret doors are always found, there is no real mystery to them except in a false way. Calling them a secret door and then having them always be found isn't really a secret door. It's a faux secret door. On the other hand, everything in the game is a conceit. We make up all of this. So why can't we say something secret even though we know it's not, just to lend an air of mystery to the finding of it? Don't know. I'm not sure. You have to decide that for yourself and how you run a campaign. Personally, I'm of an opinion that secret doors need to be found, and there's a chance they won't be. It's just how I run my games. I like that. If there are multiple ways into an area, multiple secret doors, or if there are multiple ways in and the secret door is just a shortcut and bypasses a lot of trouble, because the long way around runs past traps and monsters and whatever else, then the secret door is a great bonus. And taking the time to search for one is a clever move on the part of the players, and so it's rewarded by avoiding all of that trouble. Let's go into some of the mechanics of this, though. Checking requires a very thorough examination of the possible secret door area. You may use either of two methods to allow discovery of the mechanism which operates the portal. Number one, you may designate probability by linear curve, typically with a d6. Thus, a secret door is discovered 1 in 6 by any non-elf, 2 in 6 by an elf or half-elf character, even each character being allowed to roll each in turn, checking a 10 by 10 foot area. This also allows you to have some secret doors be more difficult to discover, the linear curve being D8 or D10. So 10 by 10 area, and they typically mention that because they like to say that it takes a turn to search a 10 by 10 area, and this way you're keeping track of time even as you're keeping track of the difficulty. These are the typical rolls. Let's go on to number 2. You may have the discovery of the existence of a secret door enable a player to attempt to operate it by actual manipulation. The players concerned give instructions as to how they will have their characters attempt to make it function. Turn the wall sconce, slide it left, press the small protuberance and see if it pivots. Pull the chain. This can be a fun way of running games in Secret Doors, and I often like to move in on this when I'm trying to draw players in early in a game. This style, and you can use both. You can just, if it's late in a game session and you're getting close to needing to give up the ghost on time, and let's say it's a one-shot at a convention and they're just outside of the battle for the all hope and glory or whatever, maybe just roll behind the curtain. Maybe just let them tell you where they're searching and then you roll. Give it a chance. Maybe they still got to rush around through the tough trapped area to get to where they need to get to. But at least they're trying. So you give it a random chance. The other thing you can do if it's early in a game and you're trying to get people to work together and think together is to describe an area in great detail. Well, there's a picture on the wall. There are 2 faux columns that are 10 feet apart. And there is also some other sort of ornamental carving to the stone behind the portrait that's on the wall. Now they have multiple things to check, to search. There's a couple of sconces coming out of those pillars. They have multiple things to check, to manipulate, to try to discover the mechanism that operates the secret door. And maybe between a group of people, hey, did you check this? Did you check that? What if I pull this down? Nah, I think you're on the right track, but what if we turned it this way instead of that way? You get them working together, and that's never a bad thing when running a game as a one-shot and, of course, as a campaign. So there you go. It is quite acceptable. I have a mixture of methods of discovering the operation of a secret door. There you go. With these basic points in mind, let us return to the action of the first dungeon. Here we go. Okay, so this gets back into the details of searching and the party caller and the DM discussing through dialogue what they're doing in this first dungeon. We will save this and all of the dialogue that preceded these sections that we just looked at for this first dungeon series here. We will save all of this for a much longer video, which we'll do after the new year. We'll take all of the dialogue sections of the first dungeon. We'll look at the detailed room descriptions and put it all on the table together. So that's all in one video. And we'll just make this a short one today because we got a few minute late start. I had some system updating delays, I'm afraid, which always come at the worst possible time, right? And we'll just let that be what it is. But we looked at doors, and I think we wanted to do that for sure, so. Nobody has any questions in the chat, it would seem. Alrighty. Good to check that out. Well, there you go. We can just move on to... You know what? Let's take a few minutes to talk about what's coming up in the new year, because I want to reiterate this in case people only catch 1 or 2 of these videos I want a number of them to have that explanation. As I've said before, the 21st, next Monday, will be the last show of this year. Hey, George, how's it going? And when we get into the new year, we won't do the daily shows anymore. We're going to do 2 scheduled shows on Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Central. Monday will be a sort of out-of-game thing. There'll be GM reviews, news and announcements. We'll talk about conventions. Sort of a meta day, meta Monday. And then on Thursday, we'll get into discussions within the game, like we do here today. World building, cartography, campaign discussion, DMing tips, building adventures, rules, retrospective. All of that stuff will be part of the in-game discussion that we do on Thursdays. And that's how we'll kind of delineate the topics, where a topic will go and what it will be about will be based on those 2 criteria. We will do other non-scheduled or non-regular games. I don't know, shows. Like if we can run a game online and do it as a stream, whenever that takes place, we'll try to set it up. Won't be part of the regular schedule. We'll let people know in advance when we can. And also, every now and then, if I just, get something on my mind and want to do a sort of a quick 5 or 10 minute discussion about something I've been writing about or reading about, or some discussion I get into on a message board or on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever that I feel can use a good 5 or 10 minute chunk, I'll throw a video together, put it up, and do it kind of casually without warning. I'm also going to look into doing some YouTube live videos. Try to mix it up a little bit and not just rely on Twitch so much. I like the system. I like the way Twitch works for the most part. It's been just fine. But for what we do, we've kind of topped out the ways in which we can use it beyond using it for gameplay. And I've not run any games using Twitch, but I've played in a few, and they seem to work pretty well. But you're using multiple systems when you do that, for sure. You're probably using Roll20 and Discord at the same time, or Roll20 and Zoom or something else, while using Twitch and while using OBS software. So you've got a lot of working parts all piled on top of each other. And I don't know if there's a more wieldy way of doing it. I think there's got to be. Obviously, people that use like Beyond D&D pretty much just stream it to Twitch straight from there, right? I think. And it's all cut into the same. And that can work out all right. But since I run first edition games, not 5th edition games, Beyond D&D is not an option for me. I've been looking at Astral. If you're familiar with Astral at all, drop me a line and give me some ideas what you think about it. I'd appreciate that. And that's pretty much it for the day, though. So I'm going to say thank you very much for joining us today in the stream chat. We appreciate it. And thanks also for following the channel if you can. That's also appreciated. We've just got a few days left before we take our winter vacation. That would be Thursday's GMing tips, building adventures on Friday, GM reviews on Saturday, rules retrospective on Sunday, and then a final weekly news and announcements next Monday, and then we'll take a couple of weeks off and be back on the 4th of January. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. Please do subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up on any videos that you're watching and you enjoy. That's very much appreciated. And feel free to leave comments. You have some constructive criticism or want to give us an attaboy or want to chime in on whatever theme or discussion we're having, feel free. It's appreciated too. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.